All right, we're back for more Versus Live. I'm Todd Anderson. That's Ross Merriam. Today's match, we're going to be playing Azorius Delver from your side. This is kind of a newer take on the Delver archetype. Looks pretty similar, honestly, to the old school versions of Jeskai Delver, piloted by people like Michael Majors, Owen Turnwall back in the day. Cutting the red, it was mostly just for Lightning Bolt and sometimes Grim Lavamancer. Why are you two colors, and why do you have so many basics?
So the basic lands give you a lot of protection against Wasteland.
Ross, your mic isn't on.
Still.
Oh, you jerk.
They give you a lot of protection against Wasteland. They let you play back to basics in your sideboard, which is a haymaker.
It used to be in the main deck. I know that the original iteration, the Owen bill, had main deck back to basics.
So there are certain matchups, Eldrazi, lands, where back to basics is a really good sideboard card. Mm-hmm. And the insulation against Wasteland is really nice. So you don't fall behind against Shadow, against other Delver decks. I think Swords to Plowshares, as we talked about before the break, is a really well-positioned card. This list specifically comes from Harlan Fearer, a very strong Legacy player. He won the Classic at the Team Open, won the Legacy Classic there, so that's usually a very well-attended Classic. He's got a lot of Legacy players in attendance, so a tougher field than most, and he was able to take it down to this deck, and he's been touting it since then, so I want to see what's up.
All right, and I'm going to be playing Golgari Depths. This is effectively just your Thespian Sage Dark Depths kind of combo deck, but this one has a fair game slant to it. We're actually moving away from the graveyard, no life from the loams. We're going pretty hard on things like Dark Confidant, Sylvan Safekeeper that can protect either Dark Confidant or your 2020 creature, as well as Vampire Hexmage, which can act as a way to quick hit a Dark Depths along with like an Urborg on turn 2, while also giving you a random creature that can beat down or knock off a Jace the Mind Sculptor in the process if you needed to.
Yeah, so there's some good utility there. Can knock off a Liliana Last Hope and protect your Dark Confidants and Sylvan Safekeepers that way. And you do have this ability to play like fair and put some pressure on them. Even if you don't end up putting the 20 on them, then they're forced to keep in some bad removal to deal with these creatures. Right. That's not going to interact with your other game plan. So it's just another angle that fits pretty seamlessly into the deck. Mm-hmm. One of the cards is a combo piece. One of the cards is a piece of protection for the combo. One of the cards is a piece of card advantage in longer games. So none of them are completely dead outside of plan A, but together they give you a plan B, which is just really good deck building when you can seamlessly get a second game plan without doing a lot of work and without sacrificing much from your first game plan. That's when it becomes really tough to answer the deck, and one of the reasons that this deck has become a staple of the metagame.
All right, let's go and get to the match. See who takes it down. I'm going to be on the play here since I lost the last match.
Shocker.
Well, you say shocker, but you cheated, and also
I also won the game we played after that.
Yeah, but which makes it essentially it should have been 2-2. But I'm going to let it go. Okay, I'm going to let it go. I'm going to keep this hand. It's not very good, but I'm going to keep it.
I'm going to keep this hand because it's pretty good.
All right, we're going to Inquisition you.
That's also pretty good.
Okay.
A little bit of a creature-heavy hand, but
a lot of nonsense going on over there. The creatures, I mean, if I can take Delver, and that's going to slow him down quite a bit. But the Brainstorm is going to be potentially draw him out of it later. I think we just take Delver, though. Your turn.
Till all I wanted to do was just draw a Delver and make you feel really sad.
Okay. Oh, some friend. You have a Brainstorm in hand. What are you doing?
Yeah, that deck doesn't Wasteland, right? I'm not.
I have a Ghost Quarter in my hand, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, sometimes they have like one to answer opposing Wastelands or something like a Ghost Quarter, I guess.
All right. My hand is not getting any better. I guess I'll play around Daze. I'm going to play a Dark Depths, put my 10 counters on it, tap it for black, toss these you.
Brainstorm in response.
That's fine. Now, I could have waited until next turn to Thoughtseize after Ross just cast Stoneforge Mystic to take the equipment, but I'm actually not that afraid of a Stoneforge Mystic, at least not afraid of a Stoneforge Mystic with a Batter Skull. If he decides to get Umezawa's Jite, that can actually mess up my plan B with like Confidant stuff, but at this juncture, I'm literally just looking for one of my 7 or 8 cards that interact with Dark Depths and make a 20/20. I kind of hope that he doesn't have Swords to Plowshares. It's also possible I should have just mulliganed this hand. I have very little experience with this deck. All right, Sneepy Boy, Your turn.
Brings so you're at 18.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to just get destroyed by a Vampire X Mage or even a Thespian stage, so I'm going to leave up this Wasteland, and that's why I held this Delver here. So Todd is going to know the top card of my deck, so I'm not transforming this Delver next turn, but I do have some pressure and a way to interact with the combo. And hopefully I find, some other good stuff to do, but Stoneforge will give me enough to do in the meantime. Wonder if I'm supposed to get Jite to handle Safekeepers and Dark Confidants.
Yeah, that's what
I think I am
talking about last turn, but I'm not sure either. All right, Boggy. Your turn.
Okay, no transform, attack for 1.
19.
17, you thought.
Yep.
So I can tap fetch lands for black, so there's no need to pop them in case I want to save for a Brainstorm or something. So Stoneforge Mystic. I am going to get the Jite. I think it's better than Batter Skull.
Yeah, I think the racing scenario, it's about the same, and the fact that you can use it to pop off. Like, Dark Confidant would be quite a good draw here, if you got Batter Skull.
Yeah.
But now with Jite, it's not very good.
Keeping these fetch lands on the battlefield also lets me effectively get Scry with them and the Delver trigger. Get to look at the top card. Even if I transform it, if it's not a card I want to draw, I can fetch it away, still in my upkeep. These are the little things that the experienced Legacy players always hit on, like finding that extra way just to see an extra card here or there, and over the course of a longer game, it gives them a significant advantage.
Okay, your turn.
Upkeep, trigger Delver. Wheel of Council's Judgment.
Mm-hmm.
See? This is a card that transforms the Delver, but I do not want to draw. So let's correct this fetch. I already have a target for Wasteland on the battlefield, so I don't think there's any point in finding a bunch of basics here. Let's just find another Tundra. I'm at 19. And that Ghost Quarter is scary in that it will stop me from being able to answer a 2020. Ooh, maybe I was supposed to draw that Council's Judgment because of the Ghost Quarter. My plan was to just sort of tap out here and get the Jite going because the Wasteland's not doing anything anymore. So I guess we'll tap this for black, play the Jite.
Yep.
Equip it to Stoneforge Mystic.
Yeah, this is a spot where I really wish I had crop rotation to just slam Ross for doing this, because I could float, crop rotation, get Thespian Stage, activate, and even if he has days, I can just pay. But then I get to main phase, make a 20/20 next turn while his Wasteland is tapped out. But unfortunately, my draw this game has literally just been more lands, so I will take 4. I'm at 13.
I'll get 2 counters.
Yep, and now I just gotta hope that draw one of my ways to make a 20/20. There's Drew Mox Diamond. Okay, great. I guess I cranked a counter off, whatever.
Sure.
Could matter. You don't know. You don't know that.
The old hard way.
Your turn.
Okay, Brainstorm.
Sure. The old version of this deck, you should play like 3 or 4 Pithy Needles just to name Wasteland. And, if I'm not mistaken, we have... I'm going to make sure. I thought I had a few in here, but maybe not. It doesn't really matter in this juncture. Nope. Nope. Yeah.
Go to 18.
Sure.
You do have 2
2 what now?
Wasteland.
Yeah, I have 2 Wasteland. I don't have Pithy Needle to name
Oh.
opposing Wasteland because I have my own Wastelands. I was just making sure on the list. What are you doing over there, man? Taking forever to do nothing. Come on.
Casting a Ponder.
Great. No one wants to watch you shuffle for 6 minutes, okay?
I do.
Man who doesn't value his own time.
Jesus. All I can draw are lands and Stoneforge Mystics. Fortunately, Todd has drawn just the land half of that equation.
Yeah.
Want to cut?
Sure. Man, this is about the most interaction I've gotten so far this game was cutting your deck. Gonna fetch. Yeah, no blocks. Alright, so take 4 again. I'm at 9.
Yeah, 9. Stoneforge Mystic.
Sure, dude.
Get the Batter Skull. You can go.
Alright. Draw. Okay. Whatever, man. You win. Okay. While we're gonna figure out sideboards here. We're gonna take a short break. Sorry about that. Just drew nothing. Not a whole lot I can do there. Well, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. All right, we're back for game 2. We're going to be sideboarding here before that. In this matchup, Ross has a lot of soft permission that can really put the screws to crop rotation. He is boarding out Spell Pierce, though, so I could be making a pretty big mistake. Crop rotation is one of the better cards in the deck, but the liability is that you have to sacrifice the land as an additional cost. There's a chance that after game 2, I just end up bringing them back in because of how potent it is with Dark Depths or Thespian Sage and just enabling the combo. We're going to be attempting to play a longer game here. We're going to rely on things like Choke to really hammer Ross's mana development. We're going to use Toxic Deluge and Marsh Casualties as a way to clean up some of his creatures. And then Duress and Assassin's Trophy to deal with some of the random things he might play, like Back to Basics, along with some Abrupt Decays that we already have in the main deck. We're going to be cutting the Sajiri step. Because we're cutting the crop rotation, that's kind of like your 1-2 punch to give crop rotation a bit of added value in protecting your Marit Lage token, as well as the Bajuka Bog. This matchup's not really about the graveyard, even though he has Snapcaster Mage, just not very good. And then we're going to be turning 1 Sylvan Safekeeper because the second one is usually pretty bad. And, I mean, we had it the most of last game, and it just kind of did nothing. And against Umezawa's Jite, it just feels kind of bad.
Yeah. On my side, I think Council's Judgment and True Name Nemesis are your worst cards. They're both just sort of awkward, slow, and clunky. Judgment can theoretically deal with a Marit Lage, but doesn't really because they almost always make it on your end step. Sometimes when you have a Wasteland, they have to do it on your turn, but even that's not a guarantee and not enough for me to want to keep the card in my deck. True Name is a hard card to tap out for if I have to hold up Wasteland or hold up Interaction, and I don't need too many threats in this matchup. That Todd's deck is pretty removal light, so we're going to cut those. I like Surgical Extraction because we're a Wasteland deck, so we can actually deal with one half of the combo, Surgical the other half, and then focus our game plan around beating the rest of Todd's deck. If I didn't have Wasteland, I would not be bringing this card in, and it's certainly not a slam dunk even if it is. I think Path and Spell Snare are both great in the matchup, so those are easy includes. Disenchant is mainly here for the threat of Choke, but it can also tag Sylvan Library. It can
or just
even
Mox Diamond as
yeah.
a Stone Rain.
Exactly. So the fact that it has those other modes makes it worthwhile enough to bring in. I'm torn on whether to bring out Pierce or Daze. I think Daze might be worse on the draw. Pierce doesn't do a ton in this matchup, but both are pretty bad against a deck that can generate a lot of mana quickly because of Mox Diamond. Neither really hits Todd's removal because it's largely based around Abrupt Decay. But I think on the draw, I'm going to try bringing out Daze. If we're go to game 3 and I'm on the play, I'll bring the Dazes back in.
All right. Any questions while we're shuffling up here for game 2?
We just had one more from 187 Annihilation. Just your thoughts on how the new Mulligan rules will affect decks in general. Do they help more the proactive decks or just the reaction to those decks?
Definitely the proactive. It's the same thing we see all the time with threats versus answers. You can say that, they'll find their ley lines in games 2 and 3 more often than not, but there's symmetry in those games where the dredge deck can find its Nature's Claims and other answers to hate more readily as well. Mm-hmm. But where the symmetry breaks down is game 1. So if you thought you were winning game 1 against dredge before some portion of the time, that just dropped drastically. And it's hard to beat them in 2 games in a row when you absolutely have to find your hate card and then hope they don't have an answer to it. When your 7 comes and you have your ley line but not much else going on, are you going to mulligan to try to get a better ley line hand? Probably not. You're probably going to die to that Nature's Claim. So it favors the proactive decks for sure. But everybody tries to look at it as to what's going to happen from this metagame. Well, this deck gets really, really good. But there are decks that are good against dredge without needing graveyard hate. People will start playing those decks more often, and that's fine.
Yeah, especially if they can also use the Mulligan rule to their advantage,
Yeah, things like Whir is going to be pretty good against dredge, and And that deck's already doing pretty well and could definitely take advantage of that mulligan rule when it's trying to bridge you quickly. So you might see more a deck like that rise up in response. Even a deck like Ad Nauseam is good against Dredge and seen a little bit of play because it's also good against Phoenix, Burn, and Dredge. The metagame just changes. It's not going to be Dredge dominant, but that's sort of where you start. And that'll start the ball rolling. And eventually we'll get to a point where things make sense.
All right. Well, my opener is pretty good. How's yours?
Ditto.
All right. Start with Thoughtseize. Jace, Delver, Spell Snare, Ponder. I think I'm actually just going to take Spell Snare because of my hand, but that seems bad. I'm just going to take Delver. Okay. He's going to hold up Spell Snare forever, but we have enough 2-drops that he's going to hit something with it.
Todd confidently taking Spell Snare would have been the thing I'm most scared of because it could just signal Dark Depths Hex Mage.
Well, we don't have the Dark Depths part of it, but we got Hex Mage.
I don't have another answer to that right now, so let's just counter that.
Yeah, and we're kind of putting Ross in a spot where if he doesn't use Spell Snare here, he's kind of letting that mana rot. And that's like the worst of my 2-drops in hand right now. But, obviously if we draw something like Dark Depths, I'm going to wish I sequenced it backwards.
So I'm at 19.
Mm-hmm.
We're pretty happy to just trade resources here, especially with the Jace in our hand.
Right.
And trading for an answer to Jace is especially nice. But it does indicate that there's some strong cards in Todd's hand, if he's willing to so readily throw that one away. Pass the turn. I don't think there's a big point in just wastelanding Todd right now.
Guess I'll play around Spell Pierce here. I'm going to Thoughtseize you. All right, drew Spell Pierce. I will take... I think I'll just take Jace and then just play my Sylvan Library next turn. Seems pretty good. Just kind of invalidate the Spell Pierce for as long as possible. I could just take Spell Pierce and play Sylvan Library now. I kind of love that, actually. Let's just take Pierce. Your turn.
So you're at 18?
16. 2 Thoughtseize.
I'm at 19.
Yep, your turn. Obviously tapping Catacombs for black. Thanks, Third Ward.
Ponder.
Yep. Now we can keep him off Jace a number of ways next turn. But we mostly just want to dig through our deck and...
You have 2 in hand?
Yeah.
Okay, since we have the Jace coming down next turn as a threat, I'm willing to just tap out this turn. It's unlikely that Todd's able to find both pieces, so I'll crack to 18 and disenchant the library.
That's unfortunate. All right, Wasteland, your Wasteland. Your go. And he can still probably cast Jace in 2 turns from now, but I get to knock out the Wasteland, which is a way for him to disrupt my combo, while also keeping off Jace for an extra turn.
Yeah.
But we tried to play around as much as we could in that scenario. We could have, I don't know. He was going to find the disenchant no matter what. He had the Spell Snare. The draw's just not really lining up super good in this matchup. Probably should just crack this Verdant Catacomb at some point. I'm so used to just holding them, but my life total might actually matter here. So
definitely want to save the fetch lands with this Jace, so we'll just play that. And because of the threat of Assassin's Trophy, I'm just going to Brainstorm.
I'm going to actually Trophy in response to the Brainstorm.
Yeah, that way I don't get a free shuffle effect.
You don't get a free shuffle effect, and also if you draw Force Will, you can't cast it.
Yes. A wise decision. So we'll get an island. And Resolve the Brainstorm.
Bad. Yeah. I thought this matchup might be tough. I didn't think it was going to be this bad. Just, the disenchants out of the sideboard really hurt. Spell Snare. The one of Spell Snare just made me Thoughtseize that.
There's 2 Spell Snares in the postboard configuration.
Oh, nice. Okay. The stage, your turn.
That's scary.
Mm-hmm. Actually, while you're tapped out, I'm actually going to fetch a forest, and I'm going to copy the forest. And that's going to protect me from an opposing wasteland.
Batterskull.
All right.
Indeed, right. Get ourselves a Bistecki over here. And pass the turn.
Now, the way that, even though Destiny Sage maintains the ability, if you copy a basic land with it, it has all the properties of basic land, which protects it from Wasteland. It's kind of a neat little trick.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. No Dark Depths there. It makes me quite happy. So let's mush for 4. You go to 12, I go to 22.
Yep.
I will play a Brainstorm.
Sure.
Let's put some lands back. Now I will crack a fetch. I'm going to get basic plains here because of the threat of choke. I'm at 21.
So the difference here is we both had some pretty good haymakers out of the sideboard. But when we're both low on resources, the player that has Brainstorm in their deck is usually at a pretty big advantage.
Yeah. Also, most of our resources traded 1-for-1 except for the Jace that gained 2 cards, 1 off the trophy. And
Yep. But I mean, I just kind of can't turn my extra lands into other resources where you can. That's really the breaking point.
Yeah, that seems pretty reasonable. So we'll leave that one there, and I'll play Delver and pass the turn.
Okay. All right. Try this.
Resolves.
Go.
Show you a Swords to Plowshares.
I'm going to Ghost Quarter your planes.
That's a have to.
It's a May.
It's a May. Let's brainstorm in response to that.
Sure.
And I will Swords the Dark Confidant. You go to 14.
Yep.
This dies. I'll get another plains with it. Then I'll go to my draw step.
Sure.
Attack you for 7.
Decay the... I don't know if it's better to hit that or the germ, but he can just move the germ to or the battle scroll over next turn and start swinging for 7. So
8 to 25.
Yeah,
pass the
turn. No, I'm at 10. I was.
Yeah, I missed the life gain off plow.
Yeah,
10 to 25.
Yeah, your turn.
Attack for 4.
I'm at 6.
629. You can go.
Here you go. At 2.
2 to 33. You can go.
Okay. Okay, deck. I mean, that's probably just a product of me siding out crop rotations. I'm going to board them back in and just try to figure out a different sideboard plan. Do we have any questions while we're getting that done?
Do not have one right now.
All right. Ross, talk about Azorius Delver for 3 minutes. Go.
Deck looked pretty good there. It definitely plays out not like a Delver deck the way we think of it, not like Temur or Grixis Delver. It's more of a Stoneblade deck. Delver's just there as an additional threat that really helps you against combo. So you have to get in the mind of playing it a little bit more slowly. And you saw there the power of Brainstorm in those long games. I was just able to find the cards I needed. The real key turn was pondering into the Disenchant for Sylvan Library. That's definitely a card that could have let Todd run away with it early. So a little fortunate on the early turns in that specific game. But, it's not a guarantee that your first threat just runs away with the game. That's something that you're hoping for, and discard spells certainly help you do. And in the long game, this deck has a lot of really, really good tools, and I was able to turn the corner pretty quickly after trading resources for the first 4 or 5 turns.
Yeah, I think the big thing there is just I reduced the overall threat density of my deck by cutting crop rotation, and the fear of losing your crop rotation to a counterspell is not nearly as powerful as just having the consistency the crop rotation brings to the deck. I mean, there's always a chance it gets hit with a Force of Will or a Pierce or Flusterstorm or whatever, and I think you just have to, that's fine, just deal with it.
Deal with it.
Yeah. Okay, I'll keep, I guess. All my hands look kind of medium. I just don't know what to do.
This is not a great hand, but it has a few good things going for it. Let's try it.
All right, Dressy. Right, take your brainstorm. Your turn.
No, you're just going to take the ponder.
Am I? That is a lot of swords to plowshares.
I don't think you're taking a swords to plowshares.
Yeah, we'll take the ponder. Your turn.
Pass.
Gonna fetch a Bayou and play a Sylvan Scrying.
Resolves.
Alright. I will use the Sylvan Scrying to get a Dark Depths.
So you're at 19 to my 20?
Yep.
Good after that?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know, I'm supposed to beat 3 Swords of Plowshares.
Sylvan Safekeeper.
Oh, those are in my sideboard now.
Oh.
So,
Well, good luck.
yeah.
Island go.
I just have to draw a bunch more discard spells, I guess. I don't know. You ever tap out and I just swish you? Alright, play this first. Brainstorm in response?
Yeah, I didn't want to have to blow this brainstorm right now. I wanted to do it on my turn, but I definitely don't want to lose it, so...
Okay. The results. Why are you looking at me all funny? It's not like I have Force Wheel in my deck. Just brainstorm lock yourself. Okay. Take a Swords to Plowshares, I guess. I don't know, man.
You're at 17.
Here we go.
Dollar of Secrets.
That's fine.
Go.
Replicate this. Go.
Pass.
No, sorry. I'm gonna play. No, I'm not. Okay.
Pass.
Draw. Play Dark Depths. Then I'll play Vampire Hexmage. And pass turn.
So that's setting me up to have to trade 2 for 2 here. And then reload. But there's no reason for me to do this, so...
Okay.
Go.
Counter.
Is it still a 2 for 2 trade? Yeah, you can go.
It is still a 2 for 2 trade. Alright. Draw.
I'm more willing to make this trade once I'm closer to casting the Batter Skull. But for now, I'm not sure there's a reason to. I'm at 18.
Your turn. Draw. Attack.
16.
Tosses you. Alright, I'll take a Swords to Plowshares, I guess.
You're at 15?
15, yep. Here we go.
Two in hand?
I have 2 cards. Target this. I guess I could Wasteland target his Wasteland first, and then he targets, and then I target, and then that'll force him to use his Swords of Plowshares too. I actually kind of like that. I'm going to do this in response to the thing.
I want to make sure this Dark Depths ends up in the graveyard so I can surgical it.
Yeah. And I get a Jerry Thompson Mirror Lodge. I'm going to get plowed surgical, but that's okay.
Oh, this thing.
Yep, so I'm at 35, so it buys me a lot of turn. A lot of time.
Go on your upkeep.
What do you do during my draw step?
Because you can draw crop rotation,
Yeah,
but it's clear you don't have crop rotation right now. And if you do, I'd rather make you...
If I draw it, I'll just throw it away. But...
Yeah. So I'm at 14.
Okay.
But your hand is Decay Trophy.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
Not that good. Your turn.
Delver.
Sure.
Go.
Decay it. Your turn.
Brainstorm.
Sure. Could just never played the Hex Mage or the Dark Depths, I guess, since I knew he had Plow Surgical. Because I kind of forced him into it, and I could have maybe gotten a second Dark Depths on the battlefield in response. No, I couldn't have.
Fetch.
Not if Ross plays it right. So have you at 13?
Yeah, that's what I'll have. 13 to 15.
Yep. I think I'm just getting smooshed here.
13 to 35.
Like,
Oh,
these are-
yeah, the
whatever.
plow.
These are dead. This is basically dead. I don't really want to play anymore. Ugh.
Under.
Sure. I have to kill you with literally Dark Confidants and Vampire Hex Mages. Guess I can try. I wish I had like a treetop village. That'd be kind of cool. Trying to see if there's anything sweet to get with crop rotation.
Play a Wasteland and pass the turn.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'll try to play like I would have had I not known what Todd drew. But upkeep, my plan was to try to cut him off green.
Right.
He has the crop rotation. I'm going to let that resolve.
Okay. Do I get that or do I just get a forest? Probably just forest. In case he has back to basics. We have the Urborg. If he wastelands Urborg, I lose out on double black, but I can find double black pretty easily for a Hex Mage if I draw one. Cut.
You're good.
And I don't know anything, right?
Correct.
No, I know Spell
Oh, yeah,
Pierce,
you know-
Spell Snare.
Well, I just brainstormed. So, like,
Oh, you have planes up, though. Okay, whatever.
okay. I was hoping not to have to use this force, but I have it there for a reason, and to stop a card like that.
Okay.
13 to 35.
I have you at 12.
12, yeah.
Okay, your turn.
Delver.
Yep.
Go.
Kill it.
Find another planes.
Shouldn't you have kept Spell Pierce in hand for the Force of Will instead of the Spell Snare?
Well, I actually... Oh, no, I shuffled after the... No, I shuffled after the brainstorm and then pondered.
Oh.
So I just shuffled the pierces away. And then I had a...
I don't know. Go. We might have a game yet. It's not a fun game. I lost all my big threats.
Go.
Ross can still get me pretty good with just Stoneforge Mystics. Okay, here's a 2-2. Or a 2-1. There
Yep.
we go. Yep, great.
Get Jite. You can go.
Ooh, that was a great draw. Now, even if he has Jite, we have first strike on the Hex Mage. Your turn. You got Plow over there. Already been through like 7 of them.
3.
And a path.
Yeah. Pass.
All right. Dark Confidant, Real Duress. I go to 34. I think I'm just going to wait on it because if his other card is just a land, it's just your go.
End of turn, activate.
Yep. Oh,
Go to my turn.
Duress you. All right, you win. I quit.
Yeah. Now we're just going to get the GTA on. We're going to throw away 2 lands, deal with both of Todd's creatures, and be pretty far ahead there.
No, I can. I can block and sack Hexmage.
Oh, yeah. So you can stop it for a turn.
Yeah, and then I can draw a way to kill the Jite. So I guess I'm not dead. I'll play it out. I don't really want to. All right, Mox Diamond in hand, Burning Catacombs in hand, Duress in hand. I'm not quite dead, and it's better than being dead. Okay.
Okay, so that's going to put me to 11.
We had Forest, Swamp, Urborg, Wasteland, Choke on the battlefield. Okay. So, and all his lands are tapped for a while. These are exiled.
Where's the cards that are in your graveyard?
I don't remember what they were. Thoughtseize, Duress, like a fetch land or two, I think two, a trophy, and Abrupt Decay.
Yeah, those are the important ones.
Crop rotation. No, not a trophy, just
a Sylvan Scrying. A Hexmage.
Yep. No, yeah, Hexmage.
Yeah, you scryed for that depth, so you have Sylvan Scrying in there.
Yep. Look, you're right. I'm trying to recreate here, okay? It's hard. Whatever, close enough.
Yeah, we'll play close enough. So Hexmage is going to be block sack to prevent both life gain and the GT trigger.
Yeah. All right.
Because Hexmage's ability can target anything, even if it doesn't have counters on it. So can still activate it.
All right. Draw.
Okay.
You win. All that for a bag of chips, a bunch of nothings.
Ooh, we're on the fourth pile.
Okay. What to learn here? The attrition matchups are quite tough. A deck playing Swords of Plowshares as primary removal. Pretty good against a deck with Mirror Lodge and not a lot of ways to recur it. The discard effects should have been better, I think. Like there was a lot of games where you just had like doubles of the things that I was really trying to get around.
Sometimes triples.
Yeah. Sometimes five. What's it? Hepta. Whatever.
I think the big thing is that this is another deck that doesn't have to strain itself to have disruption for your plan A.
Yeah.
So you can overload and have things that do double duty. Like the swords kill Dark Confidants just as well as they kill Merit Lages. Mm-hmm. Most decks, at least non-white decks, are going to struggle to do that. And so their decks are going to be a little bit more disparate. They're going to have certain kill spells that can deal with one thing, certain ones that can deal with another. And that not only leads to them just having the wrong one based on what your draw is, but you, with your discard spells, being able to say, well, I have a Dark Confidant here, so let's take the one that deals with Dark Confidant and not the one that deals over here. You got punished for bringing out the Safekeepers in that game.
Yeah, I mean, sure. But at the same time, like, I don't have that many lands to just throw away. If I'm trying to assemble the combo, like, obviously I had Hexmage, so it was a little bit different. But you could just start the fight at any time other than that. And, like, it just gets harder and harder for me to actually win.
When you have cards that are bad draws off the top. I think the deck just needs a little bit more of the of card advantage effects. Like, you have how many Sylvan Libraries? Just the one?
One or two.
I would definitely want a minimum two. Like, Dark Confidants just die too easily. I know like the lists of that deck that would play Life from the Loam also played Liliana of the Veil. And that was another good way for you to gain some card advantage going along that you've lost with this version. Those kinds of cards are the things that you need to win these fair matchups so that your attrition game plan is a little bit more robust.
Yeah, the attrition game plan just didn't function. In this matchup specifically, I mean, there was only like one turn windows that you had to find something, but you had to find like one of like 7 cards or whatever off of a ponder and a shuffle and you had a lot of ways to see it and to find it. Like the one turn with the Sylvan Library, you found the Disenchant. But if it was Dark Confidant, you could have found like a host of Swords of Plowshares or Path to Exiles or whatever. So it's hard to use discard spells to disrupt the Delver decks because they function off of like such a low land count, are able to use Brainstorm effectively to shuffle those kind of cards away, and nothing in their deck is really dead after sideboard, which normally you want Brainstorm in game 1 to shuffle away extra lands, but if I'm wastelanding you, extra lands are good. I don't know. You can this version specifically has the Swords of Plowshares instead of lightning bolts or whatever, or fatal pushes, so I just can't kill you with a 20/20 when I make one, which is kind of disheartening. But I think that this might have been one of the tougher matchups to pair against it because it did not feel very good at all.
Yeah, I think you're better off playing against people that have bolts and pushes, so that they need to bring in specific ways to answer Merit Lage. Maybe they've got a couple Diabolic Edicts or something like that, and that's about it. And that way, when we're in this weird stalemate, you're able to get the 20/20, and my removal spell doesn't cover it. So that was a spot where I had the answers to. I had a Wasteland, but you had a Wasteland, and then I guess when you first played the Hexmage, I didn't even have the Wasteland yet, so you would have just had Hexmage Depths against a hand of ineffectual removal, and say if that removal is instead a Lightning Bolt, a Fatal Push, or a Push and a Dismember, and then the one Diabolic Edict that can actually answer it, your discard spell punches the hole. It takes the Edict, and then you make your 20/20, and the game ends.
Right, but you just have such an abundance of that kind of effect that it was just too much. I could have sideboarded a little differently. With you citing out True Name Nemesis, it's possible like March Casualties is just worthless. I could have been something else. Obviously in game 2, I lost just not having crop rotation. I just didn't have the threat density. And then game 3, you just drew a million Swords of Plowshares. And even though I had the threat density and I could pose a pretty big threat, you had basic planes, which I couldn't hit with a Wasteland. And just like, a lot of the one-mana interaction. So it was just really tough. I don't know.
I think if the attrition plan wasn't working, you should have just sideboarded hard to be a combo deck. Just kept all your protection in.
Sure, that's fair. We have Rite of Consumption. That's probably should be in this matchup, maybe. But with you having Spell Pierce and Force of Will and Spell Snare, it's just so tough to do all of it.
Yeah,
it just adds a third step to the combo.
Yeah, I think this is mainly for the Depths Mirrors.
Yeah,
where you often get in this spot where you both have a 20/20 staring at each other, and rather than dig towards Caracas or crop rotation for Caracas, you also have that to draw to break it up. So yeah, I think you might have just wanted to be a combo deck in the post-board games because it did not seem like you were winning going long.
Sure. All right, Rob, any questions over there for us? All right. Well, this weekend we do have SCG New York, Syracuse. We're going to be bringing you a Legacy Open. You can watch all the action on this channel right here where you're watching it on Twitch TV. If you're checking this out on YouTube, the event's already happened. Sorry.
Yeah, this will go up live Monday on YouTube, but make sure you can check out the schedule for the SCG Tour on StarCityGames.com. All of their events are streamed right here, as Todd said. If you are watching this live, Syracuse will start at 10:30 local time. That's Eastern time in the United States.
The broadcast will start at 10:30. If you're actually attending the event starts at 10.
Yeah.
So make sure to keep that in mind. Commentator is going to be Dice Hunt, Emma Handy, myself, Ryan Overturf are going to be casting. You're going to be playing. Do you know what you're playing yet?
Yeah. Storming people. That's what I do.
I mean, it did look pretty good in the match we played. Beating Death Shadow, one of the matchups that I feel is pretty tough.
Agreed.
That says a lot to me about the deck. So. All right, we got some subs.
Yeah, we got a couple subs today.
Subbies.
Cody Quinn 11.
Thank you.
Airbor 17th. Papa John's Napkins. Aaron Frey R1212. Thank you all for subscribing. Thanks to all of our subs.
Right, we appreciate y'all. Ross and I'll be back here on Tuesday next week for Versus Live to bring y'all probably some Modern, I would guess.
Yeah, we got regionals coming up next week. We'll probably prep you for that one. Maybe test out a little bit of that London Mulligan.
Maybe test on London Mulligan. I don't know if that's on London Mulligan. All right, well, that's going to do it for Versus Live today. Thanks for everybody for watching. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next week.